Anyway, I replied to them with a good note to say I acknowledged their response and their assistance.
I'd have just put return to sender on it. There you are. You're considered top dog when you're told that things just wouldn't be the same without you.
Hmm?
And that was just the message received by Joe Biden when, after he bailed from a meeting programmed for Saturday,
Yeah,
this Saturday, October the 12th,
yeah,
and it was cancelled. The meeting, of course, was for the heads of state
hmm.
supplying countries of
Yeah.
arms to Ukraine.
All right.
Of course, they would need Ukraine's biggest sponsor there to hide their ineptitude of supplying the goods,
Hmm.
because in the back rooms there is talk of helping fatigue by these people,
Right.
and peace deals, and that Ukraine has to give up its land. Basically,
Yeah.
Ukraine needs to lose the war and cut its losses. You know,
Yes.
but of course, they can't do anything without the say so of the US, because the US is the guy who's taking the biggest bite out of the apple, if you like.
Yeah.
Uh, of Uncle Sam has to have the last word.
Hmm.
So why is Biden bailing the meeting? Why is he ducking out of the meeting?
Yeah. Yeah.
Officially, it's because of Hurricane Milton.
Right.
We're doing this podcast on a
Hmm.
Thursday morning here in
Yeah.
Brazil. So Hurricane Milton is still thrashing around in Florida,
Yeah.
still crossing over the top of Florida.
Hmm.
Good luck to everybody there, by the way.
Yeah. I was going to say yeah.
Uh, the US government had been highly criticized for its inaction on the of the during the previous hurricane,
Hmm.
Helena,
Yeah.
and so needs to be seen as being hands-on domestically, if he's just out, or if he's just out of it, as he has been seen in public this week.
Yeah.
Basically, what I'm trying to say is, are they going to be seen to have the hands-on this situation now,
Hmm.
or has he already been seen this week, and it might be that the beach is beckoning him again?
Yeah.
You know, uh, as Milton is still battering it down across Florida, only
Hmm.
time will tell as to how much gas Biden has.
Hmm.
Personal gas he has.
Yeah. Got that. Yeah.
Remember, he can't offer too much to Florida
Hmm.
because the backwood boys in North Carolina have been more or less left high and dry,
Hmm.
or high and wet, as the case may be,
Yeah. Hmm.
by the government, relying on the private sector to help out after Helena.
Hmm.
So, on Saturday, will Biden be hunkered down in the Situation Room at the Capitol? Or will Jill be covering his deck chair with a towel to reserve the space on the beach? Off you go.
Well, to be quite honest, I mean, I know you're sort of saying you're going to be missed and everything. But what I can tell you, I mean, didn't she start chairing? Didn't you start chairing a meeting for him the other day, the other week, from what I
Yep. Yep.
understood?
I think she
Yeah,
gives him piggybacks now.
look,
Going up the stairs of the airplane, I think he jumps on her back and she carries him up there.
well, there's something. All jokes aside, I mean, yeah, it's awful to see anyone's like that dignity, etc., go. But he's in a public office and therefore fair game for ridicule. They put themselves there, whether or not he knows too much about it or not, which is the big problem. Does he really know what's going on? Or even if he knows, as they say, he knows sometimes what's going on. Well, he's the most powerful man in the world. I'm afraid sometimes doesn't really cut it. Yeah. Um, yeah, it is a um, I'd be quite honest. They go to his meetings. I don't really know what's going on now in today's world. I mean, and most of the negotiations is done by, as you say, backroom people as well. The talking and the yeah. All he can just do is go and win hearts and minds, maybe. Um, I mean, yeah, there was a meme going around this week of previous hurricanes in past years. Of course, there's the Obamas, the Clinton, and the Bushes. Yeah, all hugging people. And there's Trump actually doing something. Yeah, but he tried to make the point, oh, well, he's not on the ground doing it. It's pointless him being anywhere near it, to be quite honest. Um, Especially in his current form. As you say, his hands are tied exactly of how much he can do individually or as an administration. Most of the states, this is what's the way I understand it. Most of the states just need the backup support, if you like, underwriting or support of the federal government. Yeah, they'll get support, financial and everything, and then it's how it's distributed and used in there is up to the states themselves.
The big argument about Hurricane Helena is
Mm,
that the FEMA
mm,
had transferred all their money that they had
yeah,
to the states for the illegal immigration
yeah,
people, right? And so they said that they didn't have any money to
mm,
give to North Carolina.
yeah,
So what I'm trying to get at here in this little piece here is
yeah.
if all of a sudden Joe Biden or the US government find a stash load of money to give to Florida,
They've then got to, yeah,
they're going to have to explain this to the people of North Carolina.
yeah.
You know? And don't forget, we're only like 20 odd days from the election. So, they're damned if they do and damned if they don't in this case. And, I'm sure that Florida carries more weight than the backwoods of North Carolina.
Mm,
However, if there is going to be a discrepancy, or if there is going to be
yeah,
a waiting
yeah,
for Florida, the rest of the country and indeed the world is going to see that
yeah,
it's one rule for some and not for others.
yeah. I
So they've
mean,
got to be very careful about that.
yeah. I mean, don't forget we live in a country that is very similar, state ruled, individual state ruled. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, yeah,
Whether or not it's got a bigger federal say, I don't know. I mean, it depends on the administration here, but basically, really, the governors in states and the administration of a state are running a small country,
yeah,
even in
sure.
Brazil. Um, I do think Florida are probably quite well prepared. I mean, it's not as though hurricanes are a rare thing for them. Okay, this one's big, and I'm not decrying it. And obviously, our feelings go for the people on the ground who have suffered, lost their houses, even, and obviously, hopefully, not too many. We know people lost their lives. Yeah, no amount of money is going to bring that back. I mean, I know there's evacuation warnings and everything else. I mean, but people tough it out sometimes and are in a better position. It's a
Yeah,
personal choice.
yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean, yeah, and yeah, I mean, it's not the whole of Florida that's engulfed; it's pockets of it. Yeah, I mean, it looks
yeah.
pretty dramatic across on the satellite things, but yeah, it's if you happen to be where you happen to be on that under that red, blue, or green, that green thing. Yeah, I mean, they're used to about 100-mile-an-hour winds, gusts in Florida. The people
I'm
there,
sure that
no,
even if you're outside those limits, it's going
yeah,
to get a little bit gusty.
yeah. Well,
It'll be kite flying weather at least.
yeah. Well, this is it. I mean, they're used to good weather a lot of the time and all that. And yeah, I don't believe it's anything to do with climate change. Weather
No,
happens on
not at all.
planets. Weather happens on planets anyway. And yeah, I'm just changing the subject here a little bit. Yeah, I mean, to say climate change, yeah, we're arguing about this. Um, I was watching a documentary from a few years ago. Um, Actually, it was on a digital channel, not actually on the internet, by Smithsonian. Yeah, talk about climate change that happened hundreds of years ago, a
Of
thousand
course.
years ago, and the way it affected civilizations and everything. So yeah, to sort of say it's climate change, yeah, maybe they have got to get used to it for a while. It's in the States because it could be their turn to suffer it, is it like? we probably stop the immigration issue. Who's going to go there now? Yeah,
Oh,
everyone out there.
do you want to hear the last absolutely absurd thing I heard
Yeah.
on the radio this morning?
Okay.
There was a guy, a climate change activist sort of
Yeah.
thing, trying to
Yeah.
defend illegal immigration into the UK.
Yeah.
And he was saying that people are moving to the UK because of climate change. And
Right.
Julia Hartley Brewer, I think her
Oh,
name
yeah.
is,
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
she said, "Climate change, don't be so stupid." He said, "Well, you try living in a climate of 50 degrees." And she said, "Well, they've been doing that for thousands of years." You know, you know, there's 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 a reason why Egypt is full of sand,
Yeah. Well,
and
yeah.
and
Well,
I just couldn't believe the guy. I really, really.
well, I mean, for thousands of years, the population of Egypt happens to have lived by the River Nile. Yeah, I mean, yeah,
Yeah, it's the only fertile place of the place.
yeah, I mean, that's a good reason. A bit cooler. You go and have a bay, a bath in the River Nile in fresh waters.
Mm,
Um, but yeah, yeah, okay. It might be a case that the states have got to get used to things. We don't know longer term cycles, and weather. Other planets. Oh, look at these fierce storm on other planets. Or other planets. Okay, Jupiter's a gas giant, but yeah, still has storms on it. And yeah, that's what planets do. The Earth is still evolving. Uh, it's us humans don't live absolutely anywhere. Yeah.
mm,
Um, you know, about animals here who suffer the best. Yeah, we've got to be careful, mindful what we're putting into the atmosphere, and I totally agree with that. And plant more trees and bushes. Stop bringing them, cutting them down to make cycle paths and things.
mm.
Yeah, rather defeats the object. Yeah.
Well, let's see if Biden can evolve into giving something a little bit of help to Florida when they need it. Let's see what happens.
But he has praised DeSantis, from what I understand. He said DeSantis seems to have everything under control, or he said
Yeah.
something like that. So yeah, which sets DeSantis up nicely for a possible Biden, for a possible Harris administration. Well, your
Yeah.
predecessor thought I was okay.